how difficult it was. There was a scene in the movie where somebody's cooking chicken on a grill. That actually was me. That was actually me. And I was, they were filming me. So I'm just like being totally paranoid and watching what I'm doing. But there was a point in time where I actually picked up a piece of chicken with my bare hand. And I went, oh, wait a second. What am I doing? And, that's a guy like me who knows better. And so I just don't think you should be putting that burden on fully on, the dad who's not that bright, or a mom who's got 3 or 4 kids, dealing with, or for goodness sakes, for, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids in a fast food place cooking your chicken. I mean, that's kind of the definition of insanity to me.
Okay, if you had to give a grade, because in the documentary, which I thought was, it's like shocking to me because the USDA and the FDA like work for us. They said, oh, we'll give you 20 minutes, in the documentary. It's like,
yeah, it was very.
And then the guy who's the head of the CEO of Purdue Chicken was in the documentary. I mean, do you give these 2 or these 3 people that were there any credit, or were you really disappointed in that?
No, well, I think a couple things. One is, that industry, for the most part, I'm kind of answering your question directly, but yeah, the industry, for the most part, sort of banks on 2 things. One is they can blame the consumer for not doing things right. And the other thing is that they're likely never to get caught. Most of the time people get foodborne illness, they never connect up the dots between what made them sick and what happened, or they don't do anything about it. They don't make a claim. They don't talk about it on their podcast. They don't sue them. They let it go. And so there's no market incentive for these businesses to clean up their act. And actually, the fact that they can blame it on consumers, say, oh, well, you should have cooked it. Oh, you should have handled it properly. It just gives them another excuse to not do the right thing. And so where I come in is I try to correct that by making, a financial statement to get them to pay for my client's illness, but also to make public their mistakes so policymakers can understand them. But what's missing in the equation is government regulators taking the position that there should be helping protect us, not protect the industry. And that's the problem that we continue to face.
I mean, over the years, has the lobbying just gotten worse? Because it's like Purdue and like 1 or 2 other major companies, they control all of our chicken, essentially, unless you're going to a farmer's market, right? They control everything. So I'm assuming those companies are hiring very high-end lobbyists in DC to, I guess, meet with the FDA and go, well, we don't really need this. Like you said, it's the consumer, blame it on them. We don't need this salmonella regulation.
Exactly. That happens all the time. And, I mean, I got into sort of the podcast, the movie has gotten a lot of people to communicate with me in all kinds of different ways, LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok and things that I didn't even know existed. And thankfully I have 3 daughters who are in their 20s who've like schooled me on a few things, and I appreciate them. But, there was a fellow the other day that was just like, well, you're just interested, and the people who get sick are just interested in a payday. And I'm like, I said, here's a video. Watch this video. It's of a 2-year-old boy who ate a little bit of romaine lettuce off his dad's plate. His dad got a little sick. This kid got so sick, suffered a stroke, and at 2 years of age, he's now 6. He can't walk, he can't talk, and he can't feed himself, and he'll probably live, everything else being equal, he'll probably live into his 30s or 40s. I mean, the cost of caring for that child, that young man, is just crazy. And I got them lots of money to take care of him for the rest of his life. But I guarantee you that family and that little boy would much rather be out swinging on a swing and, playing, with his dog, as opposed to lying motionless on a bed. And so, but if people in industry and government think that, oh, this is just a payday, good, again, it's like they're not paying attention to the things that they should be paying attention to, which is, how do you avoid a kid like that to begin with? So.
What was scary is in the documentary, you guys actually talk about now, we've been taught shop the perimeter of a grocery store. That's like the healthiest stuff, right? Because you're getting your lettuce, you're getting your cantaloupe, you think, you're getting your milk. Okay. Shopping the perimeter is like the most damn dangerous thing. I ought to be eating Lay's potato chips. Apparently, I'm more likely. I mean,
yeah, it's the stuff that'll kill you long-term versus short-term. And I think,
so tell us how dangerous, like, this is bananas, right? I mean, I want you to tell me, like, what is so dangerous about it, and is there anything we can do?
Yeah. So, most foodborne illness cases that occur in products that are what we call ready to eat. You might wash them, but a lot of times they're cut for you. I mean, you think about how convenient to walk into a grocery store and get cut cantaloupe, cut, celery, cut whatever, have bagged salad pre-prepared in a box. You just have to open it up and dump it in a container, and you got a salad. Most foodborne illness outbreaks are linked to those products because they're mass produced. Once they get contaminated, there's not a damn thing you can do about it, because you're just going to eat it. You're not going to take it home and rewash lettuce that has already been washed 3 times. You're not going to do it. People aren't going to do it. And so, that's where the outbreaks happen. And that's why we continue to see them, because underlying all of this is, just bad food handling practices, where the lettuce is grown, it's grown too close to cattle feedlots. We have too many cattle feedlots. They're pumping out huge amounts of, cattle waste. And that's why we have these problems over and over and over and over again. I'll just tell you, I have a blog, marlerblog.com.
It's great, by the way.
And just like yesterday or day before, I put up a bunch of photographs, Google Earth photographs of a growing area from an outbreak that occurred last summer at Wendy's. It was linked to lettuce grown in California. By subpoena, I got the coordinates of where the lettuce was grown. So I plugged it into Google Earth, and goes down. There it is. I see the field. Then I back it up so I could see what's around it. And guess what, is like next door, a cattle feedlot. And you're like, this is insane. What are we doing? What's Wendy's doing? What are the growers doing? Why are they not paying attention to, what could happen? 109 people got sick. Fortunately, no one died, but there were about a dozen children that had acute kidney failure, and they were on dialysis and in hospital, for 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, that's crazy. It's not worth it.
Okay, you give a list in the documentary, the expert that you are, what are the foods that are most dangerous that you would stay away from at a grocery store?
Sprouts.
Okay.
Bag salad. Cut fruit.
Even when they tell you it's triple washed, Bill.
Oh, hell yes. That's the worst kind. Again, I'll tell you, here's a good story. It's in 2006, there was an E. coli outbreak linked to Dole baby spinach. During the lawsuit, we were able to track it to one 20-acre organic farm in the Salinas Valley. And all of that was produced and cut on the same day. Problem was that there had been some wild pigs that had busted down a fence and did their pig business in parts of the field. Clearly, not all of the spinach was contaminated. Parts of it were, but it was all cut the same day. It went to the processing facility where it was triple washed, bagged, and shipped all across the United States. 205 people sick, 5 dead, 30 people, mostly young women, because mostly young women eat spinach salads. Mostly young women, acute kidney failure. A couple of them have gone on to have their kidneys replaced. So big deal. There's absolutely no question, had we harvested that field the old-fashioned way, where you get bunches of spinach and you sold it in stores in bunches and people went home and washed it and ate it that way, would there have been some people got sick? Maybe. But I would be almost even willing to say nobody would have gotten sick.